Hey kids, you're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
Prepare for the SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I am your host, Joe. Joining as usual, we've got Aki and Bree here. How are you two doing?
Pretty good.
I'm doing great.
And we should have Jacob here.
But he's a useless turd cutter.
No, he's possibly having headset issues. I saw him mute and unmute, so...
As I said, a useless turd cutter.
You have a way with words, Aki.
Just did the most cat thing ever and knocked something off of my desk, and it scared me. Sorry about that gasp.
Sounds about
Jacob,
right.
are you there now? Thought I heard him.
I saw his thing light up.
I know. Like, what the hell's going on?
What a fucking moose knuckle, I swear to God.
I hope he's talking to us. Like, why are you just ignoring me? I don't understand what's going on. Like, we can't hear anything. I don't know if he's there. I don't know if I should keep this or not.
Keep it, just because we should always keep it. We're making fun of him. Whether it's deserved or not, that's content.
I mean, keeping this wouldn't be the biggest screw up of the week. That would go to Microsoft.
Oh, no.
Oh? Oh, the leak.
Yeah, the court document leaks. Someone at Microsoft done goobered up, and they uploaded a bunch of incredibly sensitive documents to the court servers. People thought at first the FTC leaked this stuff. It was actually somebody at Microsoft who did it. And I can only imagine that whoever it was is like sleeping in that day. I'm not going to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. 400 voicemails? No, I am not going to answer those.
Is it working now, shithead?
God fucking damn it.
Yep.
It's hi.
Maybe. I don't know if he could hear us now.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
what did he do? Jesus Christ. Take care of your headsets and your mics, yo, for fuck's sake.
Maybe he's got to change a setting.
Check your Discord settings.
Oh, yes, those change occasionally. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, I actually had to change mine today again.
Your
It's
Discord
so dumb.
settings. Technical difficulties. The episode title. Jacob difficulties.
Yeah, Jacob is a difficulty. I agree wholeheartedly at that.
I keep hearing things on his end.
He just muted himself.
Oh my God.
Mute, unmute.
Yeah, I'm just not even going to pay attention to him. I just don't even care at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, lots of sensitive documents were uploaded and spilled a lot of potential details on what Xbox is planning to do over the next couple of years. Yeah, Xbox and Bethesda, they're basically the same at this point, but
someone got fired for that, I am sure.
Oh, I'm sure someone is
Quite possibly.
Deep shit. Shocking the whole world. It was revealed in these documents that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be an Xbox exclusive. What?
Was that really that shocking?
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of didn't expect it to be. I figured they'd probably make enough money selling it on PlayStation as well.
I'm hoping that they might change that, but I also
don't blame them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what happens when you're like, oh, Microsoft never has exclusives. Well, then they start making shit exclusive.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, I get the point people make of like, well, they used to be multi-platform games, and now they're being exclusive to Xbox. It sucks, it does, but that's...
Yeah, and I get with Starfield being a new IP, that makes a lot of sense to kind of try that. And maybe the original intention is to keep Elder Scrolls, in this ecosystem and not leave, but they may change that as the continued, issues progress along and acquisitions, mergers, and all that stuff finally settles. Who knows? We've got a few years, right? Either way.
Yeah,
I really hope it goes to PlayStation. They deserve to play games too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like PlayStation itself, the people are fine-ish.
Speaking of, it was confirmed apparently that before the Microsoft buyout, Starfield was planned for PlayStation 5 as well, which again shocks nobody at all.
Not really.
It was never officially announced for PS5, but it was in planning stages at least. So it was scrapped. More court documents show that Microsoft was planning 2028 as the target for their next console release. Do you think that's too early, too late?
Far too early, in my opinion. I mean, we still have people who haven't been able to get a hold of the new ones. Not many, granted, but there are still people who don't have the current systems, and we're already like, yeah, let's change. Half of this console's lifetime was no one able to get the fucking console. We don't need to go through that stupid bullshit again.
I'm not sure that I am concerned about it being too early or too late or right on time, because I feel like there's still this bigger conversation about how they are trying to move away from hardware as the primary focus, and they're focusing more on things like the cloud and other devices and ways to access the content. And so by that year, they may have a very different concept of what that next generation means.
I mean, not just by that year, by this year, because again, these are documents from like 2020 or 2021, something like that. Like they're not or maybe they were 22. They're not like up to date current documents. Phil Spencer came out, he addressed the leak. He said these are old documents. Our plans have evolved. We'll address them when it's time to, which leads people to believe that some of these leaks might not be entirely accurate. Which a lot of people are hoping with one of the reveals, which was a new console coming next year. A new version of the Series X was leaked for $499 price tag with a 2 terabyte internal drive, but no disk drive.
Yeah.
I really want that disk drive.
Weird decision. Yeah, because by that time, some of the original, consoles, unfortunately, will have, for people who use them as much as some of us do, will have maybe worn out a little. And then it's going to be the issue of, finding something with a disk drive. And that's not necessarily going to be a viable option for a lot of us to switch to. So weird choice, but
I have shelves full of disc games that
exactly.
There's stuff you can't buy digital. I have like 3 dozen 360 games that are disc only backward compatible.
Yeah.
Like if they were to release this system and move forward all digital, I couldn't play those anymore. I couldn't play 50 Cent Blood on the Sand again.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
I mean, to be fair, that game needs a remaster.
That game's amazing.
And you guys can hear me this time?
Yeah.
We could hear you a little bit before. You said some swearing and then you disappeared again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for whatever reason, the dongle wasn't being recognized, so I had to find a different one.
You're a dongle.
You had to play with your dongles?
Yes, I had to play with my multiple dongles.
Took you a while.
Well, I am I'm a man of patience. What can I say?
So long as your dongle's working properly now, that's what matters, right?
I mean, I'm here, am I not?
Unfortunately. But yeah, we're talking about the whole Xbox leaks that were going on. We mentioned Elder Scrolls being an Xbox exclusive, which was shocking. Starfield was originally planned for PS5, which is again just mind-blowing. And then we were just diving into the rumors of the new console potentially coming next year, the new version of the Series X that is allegedly going to be an all-digital machine. I love the fact that it's a 2 terabyte drive. I want that in a normal Series X.
Yeah, I want that to be standard.
Yeah, I want it to be at a minimum of 2 terabyte, and I want it to be in a smaller console, because that's usually what happens when they make the new consoles. They make the fucker smaller, so they're not taking up enough room.
It's a lot smaller.
It does look smaller.
Have a disc drive.
It is?
And it's round or something. It
it has the Alexa shape.
Yeah.
I hate that. It's so ugly. Ugh.
Yeah, I hope the design is one of the things that they've evolved from.
Yeah, give us a box. That is what a console's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a fucking box. Give us a box, please.
Yeah.
But again,
it's also called Xbox.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the name.
Yeah.
I don't want the X tube.
God, no.
The X cylinder.
Sounds like something that gamers would fuck.
Sounds like something Elon Musk would fuck.
He does that a lot, I'm sure.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like that narrows it down, really.
I recently saw another, seemingly innocent, but then maybe inappropriate plush. It was a Kirby. Yeah, now that's back in my head. Thanks.
Oh, geez.
Awesome.
Speaking of new hardware,
it's a lot to find that.
There's some new accessories apparently being planned as well, with a new controller coming along apparently that will feature motion capabilities, improved haptics, and modular joysticks. So, when your joysticks get drift after a week and a half, you could just buy new.
Yep. The amount of fucks I give, they're so outstandingly high.
I mean, if they have gyro aiming, that could be interesting. The improved haptics could be interesting. I don't know if I care that much about either of them because
go ahead.
As I say, they're both in the PlayStation controller, and I don't care about them. Like, I don't care about gyro aiming and the haptics in the PlayStation controller. Some games, it's just overboard. Like, there's too much vibration.
See, all I want in new controllers that we can buy is for them to be cheaper and to get rid of the fucking rumble packs. I don't fucking want my controller to rumble. And they could save some money.
Rumble, can't you?
On the Xbox, you can, supposedly. There are games that somehow ignore that setting that is on Xbox and have it do that anyways. For instance, all of the menus in Daymare Sandcastle that I reviewed, when you first open the game, all of them vibrate, even if you turn the vibrate off. No matter what, they just vibrate, and it sucks, and I hate it. But that could save some money if they just sold a controller that didn't have the rumble in it.
It's going to have
save
more
maybe
rumble.
$10. Fuck that. I really don't want that bullshit. No, thank you.
Well, looks like Ryan and I have more controllers to shove up our beeholes.
There's also apparently a new Elite controller being planned. And then a bunch of games were potentially leaked from the court documents. Some of the titles were an Oblivion remaster, a Fallout 3 remaster, Doom Year Zero, a Ghostwire Tokyo sequel, and Dishonored 3.
Okay, 2 of those sound real good. I think any fucking remakes. I don't want them to make remakes because then they're going to go overboard and make like 50 of the same fucking game.
Like Skyrim?
You don't have to buy them.
I don't like hearing about them. At a point, it's like, oh, you're re-releasing this for like the 20th time. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it.
Oblivion and Fallout were both 360 games, like early 360 games. I think it's been long enough that we could get a remaster out of them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would like to see them make some actual new games again, more.
Especially because there is no ultimate, quote, ultimate edition of Fallout 3 or Oblivion that you could buy that includes all the DLC. So if these re-releases have all the DLC included, that's a potentially really good way to play all the content. Like Fallout 3, DLC is great. It's expensive. It's like $40.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, I remember getting like
Isn't there a Game of the Year edition of Fallout 3?
Not digital.
Not digital. Okay.
Yeah, disc only.
Yeah, and I think there was a disc version of Oblivion that had everything, but it came as a bundle. It was weird.
It actually doesn't have everything. Like the anniversary edition, it has Knights of the Nine, and what's the other big one?
Horse Armor?
No. All the small stuff like that is not included. You still got to buy that stuff separate.
Well, damn it.
Including the horse armor.
Oh, the pain, the suffering, the sadness of not having horse armor. Oh,
At least you understand it, Aki.
Yep.
I mean, we got to catch them all.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on these leaks? Do you think everything's accurate? Do you think things are going to change? Do you think Microsoft's going to hear the feedback of people being like, all digital? No, thank you. And change course?
No. I think that all digital Xbox Series X, that's going to be a done thing. Like, there's just no way it's not. Because, I mean, we're like, it's far enough in the console's life cycle that you've got people who have amassed, who aren't us, normal people who have amassed a game library, even if it's just like Call of Duty and Madden and stuff like that, where it's eating up all your hard drive space. And so something like an all digital console would be very attractive. I'm going to be honest, like, I'd probably even jump to it if the hard drive was bigger, because I have a handful of Xbox One and Series X disc games, and they're essentially just coasters for me, like, because everything else is just digital. Yeah. So, and as for all the game stuff, I mean, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we got remasters or remakes or whatever the heck you want to call them of Fallout and Oblivion. I mean, they're old enough. They're old enough to make it happen. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. And then the sequels, like, yeah, I mean, they all did well. So that, again, that's not a shocker either.
Yeah, I totally think the games are going to come out.
The only thing that I'm like surprised about is the shape of that one console thing. Like, I refuse. Like, well, I mean, it's just like, again, it doesn't make sense to me. Like why they would do something like that? Because again, box is in the name. Like, they've all been in a box shape. I don't know why they'd suddenly move to an Alexa kind of fleshlight thing. So.
I think storage is definitely the biggest issue. Like, they that's ridiculous that it's only 2 terabyte. Like, no. Like, if it's going to be all digital, you need to beef that shit up. I mean, that is beefed up, concerning the current offering is 1 terabyte. And
yeah, which is was unacceptable when that came out. 1 terabyte was unacceptable.
Look at the price of 4 terabyte SSDs.
No, you can't make me. You're not my real dad.
Well, up until like the Xbox One, consoles always were a hit to the company to make. It always cost them more money to make the damn thing than it did for people to buy it.
Right.
Not always.
And I thought it was up until the Xbox One generation. They always cost more, I thought.
Well, not all companies though. Like, Nintendo usually doesn't sell at a loss. I don't know if they ever have. They may have, but
I don't think they do. And I know Sony turns a profit fairly quickly, I believe. Like, it only takes them a couple of years to make it profitable, doesn't it?
Oh, that's because they have a much larger sell base. But yeah, they're still selling it at a deficit, though. But yeah, like, I'd like to go back to those days where, the company can eat a little bit of dick and give us something that is actually decent. I mean, we moved away from having fucking memory cards forever ago. I didn't want to go back to that, especially when the memory cards now cost $100+ fucking dollars. Fuck that. I hate that shit.
I don't know. I see the benefit of the memory card format with the Xbox. It's more convenient than it is on PlayStation. The price sucks, the availability sucks, but the convenience is there.
Yeah.
I wish they would make some kind of adapter to allow you to use your own SSD drives if you have them, or I wish there was an adapter to plug more than one card in, honestly. We're a 4 terabyte card. Give us something bigger. I need more storage space. Like, fucking Mortal Kombat is 140 gig. The new Forza is 132. Resident Evil is like 80. Starfield's 101. Assassin's Creed last year was like up to...
was it 170 or was it just 70? I don't remember.
Valhalla is up to 150.
Okay.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Okay, but inversely, how many of these games are available to play on the cloud?
Most
Not many.
of them aren't.
I mean, is Starfield?
Mortal Kombat's not.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed, I don't believe is. Resident Evil's not. Forza and Starfield are.
I mean, because that might also be part of their logic.
And Forza trying to drive with lag on cloud is near impossible. I've tried Forza Horizon on a phone with a controller, and the input lag it hurts it too much. I can't do it. Starfield I could see playing via the cloud.
Interesting.
Yeah, Lloyd Berry mentioning that PS5s now support up to 8 terabyte drives, but those clock in at like $1,000. So yeah, I would mortgage a house to get a bigger expansion card.
Well, the worst thing is, even if Sony and Microsoft, ate some of the cost of this, it wouldn't cost them as much because they're getting tons of them versus costing us. Like, if we pulled 1,000 people and bought 1,000 of these cards, it would cost us more than it would cost Microsoft to buy 1,000 of the cards because they're one company buying all of it.
Why would Microsoft buy the cards, though?
Well, I mean, they could get a good one actually inside the console. They could order one. Yes, it would increase the console cost a little bit, but it wouldn't cost as much as buying the console and then buying one of them fucking memory cards for us. And that's what bothers me.
Anyway, there's actual legit Xbox news that happened this week with the Tokyo Game Show happening. I stayed up until 5 this morning to actually watch this thing, and I regret it.
I completely missed that it was even a thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was on at 5 in the morning. It was like 6 p.m. Japanese time. It was solid, but it was a lot of stuff we already knew about.
No,
which is my biggest gripe. They kicked it off with a little quick blurb that Ori is coming to Party Animals.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
okay.
That's neat. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy is hitting Game Pass September 26th. Surprise.
Yeah.
And Apollo Justice Trilogy will be hitting Xbox in early 2024.
Nice.
I don't think I know what that is.
That's the spinoff.
Yeah, it's Phoenix Wright. So, like lawyer games.
Okay.
You should try them.
Maybe one day when I have money and room. And I'm willing to deal with that more.
Pal World is coming to Xbox in 2024. It's basically Pokemon with guns, crafting, and multiplayer.
Sweet, so you can
take the multiplayer out of that. I'm cool with it.
They just grab a bunch of elements and genres, shake them up in a bag, and like pull out a couple of things and go, "This is what we're making."
Yep.
Yeah, it's apparently really good because it's been on Steam and people have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm kind of excited for it. I just don't like the multiplayer aspect.
Well, you don't have to do multiplayer. I
don't know if it's just like multiplayer only or not. Like, I don't know if people are running around the entire area just fucking with each other. I don't want to deal with it. And I don't know if that's what it is or not because I haven't played it on
it's
Steam.
Like The Crew where they're all there, but you can't really interact with them.
I hope
so.
See them? That would be awesome. I'd be cool with
that. Video for Forza Motorsport coming out October 10th. Can't wait for it. Looks great. Persona 5 Tactica segment talking about quests and skill trees coming November 17th, day one with Game Pass. Good stuff. Can't wait for that one. They showed a video for Infinity Strash Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai. That is hitting Xbox September 28th. That is, I believe, aside from Power Wash, the only Xbox game from Square Enix this year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I guess it wasn't announced in that show, but it was recently announced that we're getting Octopath Traveler 2.
That was the absolute next bit of news. Yes,
Sorry.
right after
Good job,
that, right after that, they played a trailer that yes, Octopath Traveler 2 is coming to Xbox and Windows Store early next year. No date, but it's coming. And then they had a segment where they just said that they're committed to bringing more Square games to Xbox in the future. Would have been nice if they would have announced the fucking Pixel remasters.
Or Final Fantasy VII finally fucking coming.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep my expectations low.
But I feel like Octopath is a good concession. Like, it's not
Octopath is a good one. I'm excited for that.
Everybody's favorite thing, but like I'm really happy because I actually invested in getting that game on Xbox, and I was like, what do you mean I can't play the sequel?
I don't know. I don't think that Final Fantasy VII Remake should be particularly high bar, considering they stated it was a year exclusive, console exclusive. It's been fucking years since then. It should be coming to fucking Xbox. I don't think that's a particularly high bar. I think that should be pretty fucking basic shit. Oh, it makes me so angry. I just want to play it.
Me too.
But yeah, Octopath is happening. It's a good start, I guess, but come on, Square. There's a lot of stuff that you could still release on Xbox. I was really hoping that they would be like, Star Ocean is going to be on Xbox. Nope.
I just want Pixel Remaster. Like,
I know.
I just I want it. So I just want the one even.
Just give us 6. I'll be happy with 6.
That's what I want is 6. That's if I had one, that's it.
Anyway, after that was a game called Althea, I believe, The Wrath of a Fairy. It is an action-adventure with puzzles and dungeons, and it has a shape-shifting monk partner.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
It's just coming soon. No date, but it looks cute.
I could probably get into that.
New trailer for Mineko's Night Market, which is a life sim-style game with like mining and pets and treasure hunting and shopkeeping, hitting Game Pass October 26th. A lot of people are excited about that one. So.
Hey.
Persona 3 Reload is launching on Game Pass February 2nd. We knew about that one, but they just had another segment on that. And then for some reason they talked about Fallout 76.
Yay.
Like, this is Tokyo Game Show. Talk about Japanese stuff. Why are you talking about Fallout 76 Atlantic City?
Maybe Fallout 76 is big in Japan.
Maybe. I don't know.
I like Fallout 76. That was on my list of things to talk about.
Was
so
it?
I'm kind of excited.
I didn't peg you as a Fallout 76 fan.
I actually really liked it. I just don't play it because everybody else that I knew who was playing it stopped. I actually really, I know that there were some issues when it first launched. I was not bothered by a lot of the same things that other people were bothered by. I remember people complaining like it was too empty and there weren't any NPCs, and I was like, are you guys even paying attention to like the world lore and the plot? These are the first people to leave a vault. Of course none of this stuff is set up. It's supposed to feel fucking empty. That's the point. And then they grow from there because it's an MMO and it needs to have space to grow. This is logical progression, people. Stop whining. There were plenty of other things to whine about. But no, I'm happy to see that they have new content, and actually this new Atlantic City is going to be, it's so big apparently, it's going to be split into 2 different parts. The first part will be coming out December 5th, so I'm like actually really happy about that. Maybe I can convince some people to get back into it with me. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also going to be a Steam public test server in October. So if you have the game on Steam and you want to check it out early, look into the public test server. Wo Long, Conqueror of Jiandong, had a video shown off. The DLC is coming September 27th, along with the Lies of P weapon.
Cool.
Hey. Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name will launch on Game Pass November 9th. So that is a cool addition to Game Pass. I knew the game was coming, but I believe this is the first confirmation of Game Pass. So yippee. And then Like a Dragon Ishin is going to be coming to Game Pass later this year as well.
Awesome.
Yay.
Yep. And then January 26th, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. They made it seem like it's going to be the final game.
What?
Yeah, the way that they were talking in the presentation, he made it seem like this is going to be the series wrap-up for Yakuza Like a Dragon.
But I mean, like, that's not the end of, like, the Yakuza series, is it?
That's exactly what I said.
I am so behind on that series. Like, I'm on 0.
I mean, it's a 20-year-old series. It's been around for a while.
It could be around for another 50 years. It's fine. What the hell are you talking about? It's fantastic.
It only came into my field of view a couple of years ago. So I feel like...
To be fair, I'm still only on 0 and I own most of
Yeah, I only own 0 and 1.
I think I own all of the Yakuza named games, except... Well, no, I own all of them. The only ones from that set I don't have are the Judgment ones, I think. And I've only played 0. So.
Anyway, after that was a trailer for Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, hitting Game Pass April 23rd. That one looks amazing.
I'm so excited. There's a thing, because I was a backer, and I gotta like go read all the stuff, but I'm so behind on emails. But they're supposed to be getting backers the opportunity, if they want to like sing in a chorus together, and they're going to record it and edit it, and that will be part of the thing. And I'm like really excited. That's
cool. You gonna do it?
Oh, totally. If I can like, you know, get it on my calendar and figure out when it's all happening. Like I need to be a part of that for sure.
Nice. Let's see. After that, they talked about Game Pass and mentioned that Japanese players will be able to get the first month of Game Pass for 100 yen. So cheap month if you're in Japan. Take advantage of that and play some stuff. They also mentioned Elder Scrolls Online will be fully localized in Japanese in November 15th. Cool. That's pretty cool. Then they showed off something for PUBG.
Nah.
Yep.
Exactly. Then they showed off a game called My Lovely Empress, coming 2024 to Xbox and Windows. It is a sim strategy relationship builder. This looks like an Aki game.
It might be. I'll have to go look, because I haven't heard of that.
That sounds vaguely interesting to me as well.
Yeah. After that was a quick video on Exoprimal Season 2 coming October 18th, and some more Street Fighter mechs are coming. And then they wrapped up the presentation with Hotel Barcelona from Swery65 Suda51. It's a 2D action platformer that looks pretty crazy. It has levels and bosses styled after like movies, like Grindhouse style. It's coming next year to Series X and S. It looks interesting, kind of low budget-ish visually, but it looks like it could be cool.
I mean, it's Swery. It's gonna be wacky.
Yeah.
I'm there for it.
Yeah, that was Tokyo Game Show. What are your thoughts?
Meh. It happened. As you said, a lot of stuff we already knew about, and a bunch of stuff that was just like, okay, whatever. Like, realistically, who fucking cares about hearing anything about Exoprimal? And I'm being very kind about that. Who cares?
Wait.
I mean,
Exoprimal, the dino thing?
Yeah, it's from Capcom, so you'd figure that Japanese people would probably be more interested, because...
If it was a good game, maybe.
That game did not look like my kind of game.
Oh, I thought it was going to be right up my alley. It sucks.
I mean, the gameplay footage that they're showing looks like it's a fun game.
I mean, to be fair, the gameplay footage they showed of it originally looked good, too, and we found out that wasn't true.
No, you found out. I still haven't.
Oh, well... I would recommend not finding out. Save yourself some trouble.
I also played the other Dino game, and I had some anger issues, and I couldn't see myself trying another Dino shooty game. And
what's the other Dino game?
What? I don't remember the name of it. It was...
What console?
It was on all the things. It was something Extinction, maybe? Second Extinction, maybe?
Oh, all right. I think I know which one you're talking about.
That is the name of it, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, that is totally the name of it. Yeah, I think it was even on Game Pass or something.
Oh, that's another multiplayer.
It was a game preview.
Okay. Yeah, Thimber confirming it was on Game Pass.
Yeah. I had issues with one achievement. It was very, very annoying. I spent way too many hours on it, and I hated it.
I'm sorry. I totally understand that. I've played the Gears games. I understand. I very understand that.
And anyway, more news. Game Pass lineup was announced for the next couple of weeks. This week, we got Lies of P, Party Animals, and Payday 3. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's a crazy week.
Yeah, that's at least 2 decent games.
Next week, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy coming. It was announced at TGS, so yay.
Wasn't that originally on there like forever ago?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought the trilogy was on there like a few years back.
I don't think so. And then the 29th, Cocoon is coming.
That looks really interesting.
Yeah,
based on the movie.
No.
Yeah, no.
That would not be very interesting.
I hope I get to play as Wilford Brimley.
He was.
Oh, it's Annapurna.
Yeah,
Okay. It has my attention. Puzzle adventure.
Yeah, in this, basically, you find little orbs and you place them in things, and then you can get to go into that orb, which is its own universe, and you get to pull in and out of the different orbs and move them around to solve puzzles. It looks like something that's. Game. Yeah, it looks fantastic. It looks like it's going to break a person's fucking brain. I can't wait. Oh.
Yeah. I'm all in for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Adding that to my wish list.
And then early October on the 3rd, we're getting 2 more games on Game Pass with the Lamplighters League and Gotham Knights.
Okay.
Well, they had to make that game profitable somehow.
The Lamplighters League looks interesting enough for me to try.
What is that? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
I don't know enough to say.
Let's look it up. Lamplighter. I know it's like strategic XCOM tactics style kind of game in like
which is
alternate
not something
30s.
I'm all for.
I didn't want to throw out an era and be wrong, but it's set in like an alternate 30s, 18th.
Yeah, and I feel like that could be interesting enough to give a try. I'm not a big strategy person like that style, but it looks like it has interesting like story bits and character profiles, and I don't know.
Visuals are really good too.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be on Game Pass, so you could just give it a try.
Exactly. That's like I said, I'm willing to give it a try. It looked interesting enough. I'd try it.
Not all good news, though. A bunch of games are leaving Game Pass. Beacon Pines, Despot's Game, Moonscars, Outriders, Proteus, Weird West, Last Call BBS on Windows.
I gotta finish Last Call.
What's that?
It is an odd little bunch of puzzle games. It's like Windows 95 or something. And you have this little desktop you can download different games to. There's like Weird Solitaire. There's a whole like little section that Aki would probably love because you have to put together little models. You have to like snap them out of their little things, and you put together little like, mechs and stuff. And you can paint in different colors.
Did you just fucking squeal?
Shut up. You heard nothing. Fuck off.
But yeah, there's just a whole bunch of like weird little puzzle games. It's just very chill.
Sorry, Bree, could you talk about building those models?
Shut up! No! You heard nothing. I did nothing. Go away.
Oh, man. The Unity situation has gotten more interesting. Over 500 developers have joined together in protest against Unity and their new runtime fees by cutting off all Unity-based monetization in protest.
Yes.
I love it.
I've been following, like, that has been totally my popcorn bucket of like watching the news this week. It was like weird because all that stuff started hitting like right when I was coming back from vacation. I'm like, what did I miss? It just, it's been like, oh, and this is like it's almost like conspiracy level stuff that people are coming up with in different cases. But it's just like, I follow so many developers on Twitter and, just kind of seeing everybody's reactions and what people are retweeting. And there's actually one company that said they're going to donate a bunch of money to some other engines.
I think two of them are doing that, but yeah.
Yeah, I just I keep seeing all these different angles and ways that people are showing how, this is not okay.
Yeah, Unity has completely and utterly fucked itself.
Even if they go back on everything, the damage is done.
No one trust them.
Trust is gone.
Oh, yeah, the trust is absolutely gone. And I think that anybody, is going to finish their projects. But I couldn't believe, too, like some of these people are like, oh, we're just going to delist all of our games. And I'm like, what? So there's a couple of games I got to go grab just in case, which, hey, good promotion for them. But I mean, sheesh.
Oh, let's see. What other news?
Are these Xbox games that they said that they would delist?
Well, I think they're going to delist them on all their platforms, but yeah, some of them are on Xbox. Cult of the Lamb said they were going to.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Metal Hellsinger, which I actually need to buy because I didn't finish it on Game Pass because I was on vacation. They were one of the ones that said, "Yeah, we'll probably pull ours by the end of the year, so grab it now if you want it."
I reviewed it, so I'm good.
Yeah, I don't own it. Sad face.
Sorry, Bree.
Limited Run Games announced that the Jurassic Park Genesis titles will be joining the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy games in the Jurassic Park collection.
Oh,
That's
shit.
cool.
Yeah, it is. I you know what? When does that come out? I forgot about that. Is that out by the end of the year?
Should be, yeah.
All right, cool.
Let me see if I could find a date.
Because, yeah, my oldest son is going to go fucking nuts over that.
I can't find it.
Okay.
I don't know. I tried. Bluey the video game was announced from Outright Games for November 17th. It has been confirmed. It is happening. Bluey
Finally.
The video game is a go.
Yeah, it was one of those things that they couldn't ignore it any longer after some European video game catalog accidentally leaked it.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember who it was supposed to only, like, it was kind of like a For Your Eyes only kind of catalog for people within the industry, and somebody scanned Outright's page, and like the other 5 games were stuff that we already knew about, and then there's the packaging for Bluey. And so yeah, I think Outright was just like, yeah, we can't ignore this anymore.
No.
And they released a trailer. Honestly, like, I'm looking forward to it. Like, it looks solid, and my kids are excited about it. So,
did they announce who the developer is?
It's a shoot. Yeah, that was announced a while ago, or leaked a while ago. Bluey.
Artax Games. Okay.
Yeah, aren't they out of Spain? I think.
I have.
Dev.
I was going to check their website, but bandwidth limit exceeded.
Weird.
Anyway, Starfield has crossed 10 million players, making it the biggest launch in Bethesda history.
Cool.
Criterion is finally moving on to something other than Need for Speed.
Burnout?
Battlefield.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Black?
Nope, Battlefield.
Battlefield Black?
Nope, Battlefield.
Oh, damn it.
Last bit of news I have is Saber announced the end of development for The Evil Dead the game. No new content will come, and the Switch version is canned. Servers will stay up, quote, for the foreseeable future.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm not surprised by it. Like the asymmetrical horror games, or like even just multiplayer games, like, they really don't seem to last. And yeah, like, honestly, a lot of their achievements are grindy too. So it's not like, you know, you're going to get like the people who will just buy every single game that they can just to get 1,000 on it. Like, they're going to stay away if it's like, you know, you have to play for 100+ hours. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I thought it was good, but honestly, like, if you tried soloing it, it's way too damn hard. Yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah, it's a bummer to see games come to an end, especially after such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I mean, like, you also have to be a fan of that kind of genre too, and it's like, I'm really curious, like, how that Ghostbusters game that I reviewed last year, like, I wonder, like, I haven't booted that up in forever. Like, I'm kind of curious how that's doing.
Some new content to it, some new maps and stuff. I don't know that they have a super strong player base, but I do have some personal friends that still load it up every once in a while just to mess around, like, you know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man, but yeah, that's the news I have. Aki, any news on your end?
No, mine was just the Unity shit, so we've already covered that.
Bree, any news on your end?
Actually, I might have a lot. Thimber just mentioned one of the things on my list, which is there was more Embracer news of them cutting more and more things. They cut a bunch of support, including PR and IT from Crystal Dynamics. And the CEO for Embracer has said that they're going to continue making tough decisions to make a more cost-efficient company. And they're basically committed to, trimming the fat and such. They also
you shouldn't have bought 400 companies, Embracer.
I know. They also just had some layoffs at Beamdog, the people who just put out MythForce. So they're just, and this is just like in the last 48 hours. The Baldur's Gate remake. Yeah, that's the same team, the Beamdog. So yeah, they're just, it's a little scary. I don't know what's going on over there. They're still looking to sell Gearbox. They're looking to diversify or something. Was fancy business words for stuff. I don't know what's going on there.
This is seriously just disappointing.
Yeah, it's a little weird. They just expanded too fast, and I don't know.
Well, I think they were also they were expecting that the Saudi money to come in, and not so much.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys talk about Glenn Schofield yet? He's decided to leave the company he started to make Callisto Protocol. And I guess
he Dead Space guy.
Yep, and right. He's decided to leave Striking Distance, and I guess there's some other people that are leaving and all at the same time. I don't know what's going on there either, but financially, I don't think the game was profitable for them. So, yep.
Jeez, another bummer. Statue in the collector's edition is cool as shit, though.
Yeah. It had potential. It had some decent stuff to it, but then...
They put too much focus on it being hard and on people dying when people don't want to die in a survival horror game. They want to scrape through.
Survive, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some weird decisions like the DLC, even made it harder. And it was okay. And the price tag on it was a bit much for the DLC at that. It was we would like you to pay half of the cost of the game again to make it harder and harder and harder on yourself to enjoy it. Yeah. I thought those were some weird decisions for sure.
Yeah.
They really just want those Dark Souls people, apparently.
Mm-hmm. And I got two more things. The new, in advance of Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk has the 2.0 update out now.
That's cool.
So pretty excited for that. I just downloaded and installed all that. Hopefully I'll be able to get into Phantom Liberty here soon.
And if I remember correctly, they said it would just be best if you just started up a new game.
That is a suggestion. I know that you... for Phantom Liberty itself, it's recommended that you have an existing save to start from. But with the 2.0 update, they've changed so many things drastically. Just overall improvements in Phantom Liberty will even add to that. They highly recommend starting a new game and seeing where it goes. So, yeah. And my last thing was Sea of Thieves, just because I'm a big I was a big Sea of Thieves. I don't know. Anyway, this was kind of an explosion today where they had said that they were pushing their new season for later. They were going to combine seasons 10 and 11, and they decided to go ahead and kind of put it back on track. And they're releasing their season 10 now on October 19th. Which is still huge. And they have finally released a controversial, but maybe oft talked about potential feature, which is solo servers. And that is huge news for people who have been frustrated. They want to enjoy the content, the lore, to explore and learn the game, but they've either had the bad experience of not even being able to get off the starter island without getting jacked, or they just, they want to enjoy it in a different way. So that's one of the big things that I think is really cool. You'll be able to go in and just play the Tall Tale content. They did not actually apparently remove all rewards for solo servers. It'll just be highly reduced, and there'll be certain things, obviously PvP type stuff you won't be able to do.
Does your progress carry between the two?
Yes and no. There'll be certain things because progress is kind of, it's not like you level your character. There are certain types of levels, but certain things that won't carry over, like captaincy won't carry over. You'll just get bare bones ships. You'll still own all the things that you own. You'll still be able to get commendations and things. But some things will be capped based on what you're doing, or some things won't be accessible in that mode. It's a whole lot. Yeah, Lloyd knows, like, his first time he got kicked off, like, the starter island, and yeah. So it's nice for people who are maybe new to the game and are struggling, and really their friends are like, "Oh no, it's great, you should try it. Here's a way that you can try it and get acclimated." Besides just like the maiden voyage that they give you to really understand where things are, learn the map, learn how to sail your ship better without worrying about the PvP, and then later you can go in. And there's a whole host of other stuff that they're putting out with the season 10. That was just a big feature that I think a lot of people have been talking about for a while, and I'm glad to see that it's finally coming. So
yeah, I am now interested in Sea of Thieves.
Yay!
Because of the solo servers. I want to play the game, but two things keep me from doing it. One is griefers, and two is not having people to play with.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are plenty of people you could play with that Lloyd plays, I play. Glad to have you on a ship with me. I'll show you the ropes, whether it's in solo or the high seas. Let me know.
Cool.
That was it for me.
All right, Jacob, news on your end.
I do not actually have any news.
Thank God.
Yeah. I went and looked on the Facebook page, and surprisingly, I didn't post so much in the last 7 days, and we ended up gaining 3 followers.
Yay.
So I don't know how the fuck that happened, but yay!
Cool.
More people for you to disappoint.
I'm sorry, what, Aki?
Said, yay, more people for you to disappoint.
Yes. Must have been my parents that joined.
All right, should we dive into reviews then?
Let's do it.
All right, first game to talk about tonight is The Expanse, a Telltale series developed by Deck 9, published by Telltale, released July 27th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC for $39.99. Follow Kara Gee, who reprises her role as Kamina Drummer, then explore the dangerous and uncharted edges the belt aboard the Artemis, from scavenging wrecked ships in a zero-G environment to surviving a mutiny, combating fearsome pirates. You make the difficult choices and reveal Kamina Drummer's resolve in this latest Telltale adventure. Jacob and Bree, both you played this. Jacob, start us off. What's going on in The Expanse, a Telltale series?
So The Expanse is based off of the hit show that was on Sci-Fi for a few years, and then I think it went over to Amazon, which is in turn based on a book series, which
called The Expanse.
Well, yeah, the book series itself is, but I remember when it was just Leviathan's Wakes. So anyway, so I have not watched The Expanse. I'm not that familiar with it. One of my buddies from high school is going to curse after he hears that I still have yet to watch the show that I own. But
you own it?
Oh yeah, I own it.
You vapid shit.
And he requested this.
I have also not seen the majority of the show. I've seen about an episode and a half, and then I have an adult who told me more than I ever wanted to know about the show, like an 8-year-old talking about Minecraft at me, and now I can't watch it.
Yeah, that's actually how my high school buddy is too. Huh.
But it was nice knowing the little bit of background that I had to go into the game, and then still it's like separate enough and I could still enjoy it. So
is your friend named Chris by chance?
No.
Okay, that would be really weird if we both knew the same person. So anyway,
I think it's weird that you know people at all. I said too.
Yeah, I know, but I said, do we have the same friend?
You don't have friends. No one's your friend. Quit.
Well, anyway, first tell us about the game.
So it's set in the future, and you play as a member of this crew, and out in the far reaches of space, like there are essentially a bunch of people who are scavengers, and They mine asteroids, they scavenge like derelict ships, and all that kind of stuff. And they live a very dangerous and not pleasant life. Like, I mean, there's no two ways about it. And the game goes over like the general like history and like how everything works, like where things are located in the Expanse universe, like the different types of people, because there's some people who've only lived out in outer space. There's some people from Earth, like or other planets in the solar system. Yeah, stuff like that. And so there's also like a level of like classism there too, which was pretty interesting. And yeah, so as I said, you are a commanding officer on this ship, and your captain decides that you're going to go after this one derelict cruiser, and on board you find this like data dump that
fall into the abyss.
Pretty much like it's going to be like the holy grail of all scavenger hunt, not like hunts, but like stockpiles.
Yeah, the treasure.
Stockpile. We just got a stockpile of viewers thanks to Dopey rating us with 29 people. Welcome in, everybody. We are the SML Podcast. We are talking about video games tonight. We're discussing the Expanse, a Telltale series right now. Return to what you were saying.
Yeah. And so pretty much you just have to, like, obviously you have to play through and like explore different ships and environments and stuff. But you also have to make all of the hard decisions, and it could be anything from like, do you fire this weapon at this time? Do you send somebody out into, like, do you airlock somebody and just send them out into the vastness of space? Do you let a crewmate, potentially die or, lose a leg? Or do you just lose all the treasure that you just fought for, to save a crew member? Stuff like that. And of course, some of your decisions will impact how the game plays later. Maybe not in that episode, but in future episodes too, like previous Telltale games. And yeah, it's just really well written. It's fascinating, and damn, is this a beautiful game? Like
it is.
Like, one of the things that I just love doing is like when you had a moment to be in Zero G. First off, this is one of the games that I would say has best handled moving about in zero gravity and just making it accessible to everyone without needing to throw up.
And those kind of physics are present in the show as well. And that was a really nice way to kind of transition that. And is something I think that's really different from a Telltale standpoint, as far as the amount of movement and the type of movement we were able to do is really cool.
Yeah, that's fair too. Because I do remember playing the Walking Dead games, and you just weren't allowed to move.
You're
like
much
this.
more a visual novel than having that amount of movement. Yeah.
And especially when you're doing walks in outer space, you're allowed to like leave, like turn off your gravity boots and just like go float around for a bit. And like the game will say like, hey, you need to return. Like, you can only go out so far. But damn, do they make some really beautiful sights. like if you look through my Xbox profile, I took a bunch of screenshots of just like staring out at planets and asteroids and spaceships and stuff like that, and all the shit I was finding. And it's just, you really just want to take everything in. It's a really well done game. I'm glad I requested it. I'm glad we got a code or codes for it. Bree, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I have one more episode to go. I actually just did the 4th episode last night because the 5th episode just came out today. And then if you have the deluxe edition, there'll be a final like extra episode coming, which I don't think I ended up with the deluxe edition, but I'll see if maybe that'll be like an add-on we can get later on down the road. But I want to just talk to the plot a little without, giving too many spoilers. there's like when you watch a series, you have different writers on a show, right? And so there are times when you get, a certain pacing, it's following different characters or different, themes of the show. And so the pacing or the style of the episode will be different. And I felt like that was also present as a feature in the game. And I want to say as a feature and not as like, this was like a weird episode and it was, it felt segmented. It actually felt like it flowed like something I would have expected from the show. And the story gets really dark. Like if you think, like, because you were commenting about some of the like hard decisions you have to make really early on in the game, and I totally agree. Like some of those are just almost shockingly like, whoa, that was a lot, right? It gets really dark, like, and some of those decisions, like that you people
You're
living or dying.
You're just gonna eat shit either way.
It gets really dark. Episode 4 was a really long, like slow burn, and then like kind of really picked up at the end, and I was really invested in and even immersed. I use that word a lot, but I was very immersed in it, and the audio for it is not so much about music, but they're creating an environment that you are. You're in space, you're in the vacuum, and you're in these derelict ships, and the audio quality and the sounds that they had to create and just completing this audio landscape that is so different but yet familiar was really well done. It's neat because it's kind of the first real Telltale game that's just like, and this is our new Telltale game. And it is an evolution of what they had done previously. And it's a really good game. And they couldn't have picked maybe a better IP to kind of pull into to showcase where they want to go with what they're doing from now on. I just really thought it was great.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of feel like this is the game that Star Trek Resurgence wanted to be.
I haven't played that one.
It's good. It's got its faults, but this is on like if you're gonna go for a sci-fi, like adventure point and it's like because this isn't exactly a point and click because like you move around far more, but I don't even know how you describe it, but if you're gonna choose between your sci-fi franchises on this one, even though I'm a Trekkie, I honestly would say choose The Expanse.
And the other move and click. Yeah. Gosh, I was going to just say something and then I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, the game clock's in at $40.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get it on sale, cool.
Oh,
but for
I know
$40,
what I was going to say.
It's on sale right now.
It is on sale right now. Yeah, exactly. I think with Game Pass in particular, I know that there is a sale under that. It's like $25 or so, give or take, for the set. What I was going to say is actually the way that it's designed actually encourages replay, and that's something that I don't know I've seen in a lot of the previous Telltale games, quite to that level, where your choices, yes, could have some branches that went pretty far in one direction, but this really makes me want to see every option, because there was definitely a point in episode 3 where something happened, and I feel like I could get a very different outcome, and I need to know. And actually, one more thing I thought of, and I just didn't have this in my notes. Speaking of how this takes place kind of later than the show, for those people who have watched the show, again, I know I haven't, but I've heard way too much about the plot. It does finally come back and tie some of that in one of the episodes for people who were kind of concerned that they took too far a step from the original. There is a very particularly important character from the series and Drummer's history that has a very big feature, and that was really good to see, and it was just very well done, where it paid, tribute to the original material and still, having it move forward and be this new story. So, yeah.
Cool. Works for me. All right, moving on. Next game is Whateverland, developed by Caligari Games, published by Dragius Games, released September 19th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $19.99. Whateverland is a hand-painted point-and-click adventure game with a branching dialogue system, non-linear gameplay, various endings, and unique in-game turn-based strategy sports simulator. What? Bree, what is going on in Whateverland?
All right, so it is a point-and-click game set in a purgatory-like pocket dimension. There's different denizens dealing with a number of predicaments for us to solve or hinder to match our own goals. Our character Vincent was sent there by a witch because he's a thief and he did a dumb thing and he got caught, and the witch threw him in this dimension. And soon we meet a whole cast of quirky characters who have also caught the ire of this witch and are stuck there forever. We find a friend who tells us a way we could possibly escape, and conveniently he's motivated to help us. And that's basically, the beginning of the story. As we progress further, we learn that in this land, people are changed to reflect their sins, crimes, or whatever they did to piss off the witch. That's why there's a poetry-spewing raven, and our buddy Nick is half ghostly and floats. The curse of the place is really that it brings out the worst in people, the worst that they already have. But then we find out that there's a spell to summon the witch. We can ask her for a pardon to get out. But unfortunately, the residents of Whateverland decided that they all wanted their piece of it, ripped it apart, and they have all hidden away and kept the pieces to themselves. And now we've got to track them all down. And that's pretty much the goal of the story. Fairly early on, you get a map, which is fabulous because you can fast travel to all the different locations that you would need to solve the point-and-click puzzles and whatever. You're going to meet all the odd folks that you need to convince. And I thought was really great. You can do any order you want, for the most part, which is different than I would say a lot of other point-and-click stories where there's this obvious progression where you have to do the one thing to do the other thing to do the other thing. You can do most of this in whatever order is convenient to you. So when I looked at the map and I saw Cat Lady's house, I immediately went there and pet all the cats and got an achievement. But I ended up not dealing with her story for many hours. I was doing so many other things, but I was just ooh, Cat Lady. So an important thing to kind of readdress is that this has a branching narrative. You have multiple endings. I would say realistically, there's about 3 paths. There's a good path, a bad path, and a neutrally path. But that is, I think, I really, really liked that aspect of this. Based on your choices, you'll get a credits scene where there's a wrap up of what happened to all the characters, which I thought was really fun. I do want to mention, just talking about the story, content warning. Really early on in the story, there's some very dark themes about existence, notably suicide, right up front. So if that is something that is not for you, be warned. Other cool stuff about this, there's voice acting, hand-drawn art. It's the same studio that did The Great Perhaps, which I thought was a really cool point-and-click adventure. The art is kind of Burton Gaiman-esque influence. There's a jazz polka soundtrack going on in different places. One of the puzzle elements is a soccer-like mini-game. It's called Bell and Bones. You get a hex strategy map. There's different elements that can go on the map. You have 3 different character types. It's a really cool little mini-game. You have to get a little bell, a little round jingle bell. You could steal it from the other people. You can throw it, and you got to get it into the goal, which is a bunch of spoons. I don't know why, but these they're called book ashes, and they're these little tiny critters. And everybody says it's the best thing about being stuck in Whateverland is the book ashes. I don't know that any of that was ever explained, but it's super cute. If it turns out though that you hate the game and you do need to play the game, or at least try to play the game to complete some of the plot sections, there is an object you can collect by being observant in the world, and instead of playing the game, you can throw a yarn ball it will summon a cat, which will wipe the board and you automatically win. It's super cute. And I think I found enough yarn balls that you can just like not have to play the game at all. But the game is not hard at all. Talking about point and click games, there's some functional stuff I always like to pay attention to, especially when you're talking about a console edition versus a PC, because I mean, that's where point and click works best. Obviously, the pointing with a mouse is super easy. So I would say they did a really good job with the cursor. The hotspots were really good. Revolutionary, you can double click and your character will run. That is, I know, but like normally you have this one pace and you move from point to point and it's super, you just double click and it's like, oh, double the speed. It's fabulous. There was like a couple of weird spots. I'm not sure if it was an oversight, something about console, or if this was in the PC edition, but it felt like there was a couple of scenes that had areas that were kind of half off screen and like the hotspots weren't on the screen. Like you could still move to them and click them, but you were kind of like blindly like, oh, I know that's where that button should be. So that was a little odd, minor gripe. Other weird thing for me is most of the time, if you wanted to use an object, like, oh, hey, I found the cool thing I need to give to the character to have him give me the next thing to do the next thing. Usually you just talk to the character again. It'll automatically pick up, oh, hey, you have the thing. You'll get that as a dialogue option. Once in a while, though, you would have to drag the item instead, and there didn't seem to be a lot of like rhyme or reason to why that changed as a procedure. But I mean, I was able to muddle my way through it, which is fine. I also did run into a couple of glitches with a few puzzles where things didn't activate like they should. It seemed like it was a known issue. I learned to save often. You can save whenever, which is, realistically, because you have multiple choice paths, it's not a bad idea before you go and talk to anybody to do that anyway, because again, if you want to follow a very specific path, you have to be careful what you're doing. And then some of the puzzles were a bit hard, and I've played a lot of point and click games. And yeah, there's a certain element of like, I'm not getting what the game wants me to do, so I'm going to just drag everything from my inventory onto every hotspot and see if anything sticks, right? Like throwing the spaghetti at the ceiling, like that's sometimes like half of the strategy in a point and click game. But because of the way that some of the puzzles work, for like the bad path as an example, one of the first things you pick up when you land in the trash pile of whatever land is a set of lockpicks, because you're a thief, which is what got you in trouble in the first place. And there is nothing that really tells you how that works or why you should or shouldn't do that, other than the initial warning of, hey, you can make different choices and be good or bad. You can help people or you can, be selfish, basically. So some of the puzzle elements on that path, because I ended up doing, I guess it was the bad path. I decided to just like be a thief the whole way through, which was very engaging. Like it had really good puzzles. I enjoyed picking locks and dismantling safes. Like they were very engaging puzzles. But once in a while, and some of that was the glitches where things didn't interact like they were supposed to, and I would have to reload the section. Some of them seemed just a little obtuse. But knowing that, I went back and started another playthrough doing good path, and you can go through the game without ever having to do any of the things I was doing, and that actually made me appreciate a level of it not telling me what to do. So I'm kind of torn on that. I mean, I figured my way through stuff, and it seemed a little more complicated than I was expecting, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really quirky. It was a little bit dark. It had good pacing. I found the story to be very engaging. I'm really excited actually to go back and finish the other playthrough with trying to actually be helpful and not be a thieving jerk who totally...
As long as you're not caught, it's not a crime.
Oh no, he totally. That it's a witch who runs a pocket dimension. I mean, she like you're gonna turn in. Okay, these people turn into like their worst. The worst stuff comes out, and then they start to physically manifest these symptoms of like they change. So like if you can imagine, like I'll even let you guys guess. All right, so Thiefy Thief eventually following the Thiefy Thief path. Like what's he gonna turn into at the end?
Spider.
It's totally a raccoon.
Oh,
I love raccoons. Yeah.
Awesome.
I wasn't paying attention.
You suck, Jacob.
So yeah.
Well, whatever land clocks in at $20. What are your thoughts on it?
I think I would originally like if at $20 I might like take a tiny step back, but knowing that there's at least 2 good playthroughs and a lot of content and some variability there, and that I actually enjoyed playing the little mini game and figuring all this stuff out, I would say like that's actually a decent price. I would say absolutely a buy it for me. Also though, there is a demo. It's called the Whateverland Prologue. I know it's available on Xbox. I think it's also available on Steam. So if you want to try it and see if it's for you, you can play the first like little bit of your introduction to Whateverland for free. So
awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bree, that is it for you. We will let you get going so you can jump over onto your stream.
Yeah, that's the thing I do.
What's on tap for tonight?
So I'm going to try Far Cry again. Last time I tried this, it wasn't working very well. I don't know, something was wrong with their servers. I was finally able to punch a bull to death with my fists, but I was not able to run people over with a tractor enough to pop an achievement. I did, however, run an oil tanker off a bridge with my tractor. I was very, very, very pleased with myself. But yeah, I'm going to go just tractor mayhem. That's totally my plan.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, do you have any final words before we let you go?
I do. I posted the questionable Kirby pipe mouth plush in the Discord for everyone to see. Please click through and look at the pictures and judge for yourself.
So why do you have pictures of this?
Because we were talking about fleshlights and things. Anyway.
You dug that picture up pretty quickly.
She's a pervert, that's why.
That's
sure
what it seems like.
You think I'm so highbrow? Anyway.
I mean, you do have lady in your username, so
is that false advertising?
I find it funny when people call me lady because I'm usually not all that ladylike. But I am actually a lady, technically. Like, that's a whole thing. Anyway.
Wait,
I don't just mean gender.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, okay. I was like, did you buy like one of those fly-by-night, like, get your own title for a UK property?
No. It's a medieval reenactment thing, and I am actually a lady there. So that's a whole thing. I am a nerd and proud of it. Thank you.
No problem. I mean, you have to be on this show.
Have a good one.
Good night.
All right, moving on. Next game is NASCAR Arcade Rush, developed by Team 6 Game Studios, published by Game Mill Entertainment, released September 15th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, PC for $49.99. The thrill of NASCAR meets the rush of arcade racing in a new game that puts you in the driver's seat of a completely new NASCAR experience with reimagined iconic racetracks and unmatched high-speed wheel-to-wheel action. Jacob, what is going on in NASCAR Arcade Rush?
So NASCAR Arcade Rush, it wants to take like the arcade, idea of, gosh, I don't even know how to put it. Like, it wants to like try to combine something like, Cruisin' USA with like the idea of behind like the old Sega Daytona game. And throw in like levels inspired by like the 2008 Speed Racer movie. And it is just it's a mishmash of like all these different ideas. And I mean, you just go through various races. Like there's solo, there's obviously like some split screen, and you theoretically can go online and play. But I never found anybody to play with. But I do see that up on True Achievements, 2 people have unlocked it. So I'm assuming that you just have to be online when somebody else is online to get these games going, because it won't let, like, it's not like Hot Wheels where it's like, okay, yeah, like you can start and people will just pop in, all that other and like that kind of stuff. But if you go through solo, you can either do like a quick race, and there's cups, and depending on how you do on the cups, you get points for how you place during each race. And getting enough points will unlock other tracks, and also like different stuff, like stuff you can customize your car with, or like things for your driver, new helmets, like new bodies essentially. But there are some stuff that you can add to your car, like different car shapes. You can add different spoilers, different wheels, number, like you could change like the lettering for your numbers, stuff like that. And it's there. Like, I don't like playing the game. It's a little too fast.
The game threw off the worst first impression with that intro video.
It really does.
It is.
Again, as I said, it wants to be the 2008 Speed Racer movie.
The thing is, like, the video quality in that video is straight out of 2008. It's like super low quality. I don't know what is going on with that intro video, but it was blurry, it was grainy, and it made my eyes hurt. The game itself looks fine. The intro video I'm talking about.
There were a couple of times where it was blurry for me, but I've also had times where it didn't have any issues for me. But I also enjoy the fact that the game apparently supports quick resume, but not really. And so you're stuck watching that intro movie anytime you quit out. So,
oh, yay.
At least that's how it was for me. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just like I'm trying not to shit all over the game. It's
good in theory, but in practice
fine.
It has a lot of issues. I think the AI,
the levels. Oh, okay. I was gonna start off with the levels. I felt honestly like the levels were a tad uninspired. And on top of it, like they're a little hard to figure out where you're supposed to be going. Yeah. And so you'll have to play some of the levels a couple of times just to understand like where like there won't be a bridge, because they'll have walls that you can ride up on, but all of a sudden you need to be back on the ground. Otherwise you're going to fly off and go in. And also like there were levels where it's like, oh, there's a bridge out, but if you go over the ramp, you jump it. And if you don't hit the ramp at a certain speed, you're just going to fall down. Like no NASCAR racetrack is made that way. Like I get that. Like I get that they like want to have like an arcade fun idea, but and yeah, the AI like
real NASCAR doesn't have nitro boosts either. So
well, maybe it should. But yeah, and so with the AI, like if you wreck once, like it's real hard to recover. Even on the rookie level. And
even if you drive absolutely flawlessly, hitting every boost pad, every perfect turn that you possibly can, you will get past.
Yeah. And it's just like, and then you also, the game will create rivals. But like it also doesn't explain, what does this mean? No. Are the rivals going to carry over to like the game doesn't explain itself. It's just like, all right, here's an arcade game and here's a couple of the controls. Here, like have at it. Like there's no manual to this thing. It like there's no quick reference in the options menu or anything. And it's just like it's just frustrating because especially like the boost pads, like there's some that give you extra boost and then there's some that just make you fly fast. Like for when I say give you boost, like I'm talking like boost that you can use outside of like you could just use it anywhere as opposed to like your nitro. Yes, thank you. And it's just like the game doesn't explain itself. It doesn't explain the difference between the pads. It like it just doesn't tell you. And I'm like, I don't know if it expects us to like go up on a website to read all this stuff, but this is all stuff that should have been in the game, like right from the get-go. There should have been like some sort of tutorial.
I could deal with the lack of information. It's just the AI alone makes this a really hard game to recommend, because I don't like rubber band AI that no matter how flawlessly you do, the AI is directly on your ass. I hate games like that.
Yeah.
And this is one of those games. It doesn't matter what you do. The AI is always right on your ass. And it makes it a really hard game to enjoy.
Yeah. I
paid for this one. I paid for this one. We only got one. I paid my actual human money for this. And I'm bummed about it because I had high hopes for this one, and it kind of let me down.
Yeah, my kids were not fans of it either. They routinely placed last on theirs, and so and these are kids that regularly play other racing games, including Forza Horizon 3. And like they could finish in first or second on some of those races. This one, it was just like, nope, bye.
Well, clock's in at $50. What's your verdict?
I would wait for a major sale on this. Like, I mean, if they go back and improve the game, like, I mean, it might be a fun, like, try it, but in its current state, there's better games that do this kind of stuff. Like Horizon Chase Turbo.
Root Beer in chat saying to check out Horizon Chase 2.
Yeah, like Horizon Chase Turbo does this. Slipstream does this. Like heck, even like back on the 360, like there was the Daytona game that Sega released for Xbox Live Arcade. I'd even recommend it over this one. And this one has like a bunch of levels. Daytona had 3, and this, it's still
Daytona better, wasn't $50 either.
Yeah, but it was still a much more competent racer game.
Oof.
It is.
I don't think it's incompetent though. It just, if the AI was dialed back and if the courses had a little bit more direction on what you're supposed to do on some of them, I think it has a good foundation, but at $50, I can't recommend it.
Yeah, but that's honestly, that's kind of the problem, with the last handful of Game Mill titles that we've reviewed. I mean, the Little League baseball game that we did a while back, that had a good foundation too. The thing is that it's just, I feel like they're releasing games that have decent foundations, and there's just no follow through on it, and it's disappointing because they seem like they should be solid games, and they're not, and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I really wanted to like this game. I really did. The trailer looked awesome. The screenshots looked awesome. The description sounded cool. I had high hopes for this, and
just came up short.
I'm bummed.
Next game to talk about is Ad Infinitum, developed by Hecate, published by Nacon, released September 14th on Xbox Series X and S and PS5 for $39.99, PC for $34.99. When reality is a nightmare, nightmares become real. In this psychological horror game, you fight the terrifying creatures invading your mind. Can you save your sanity, Aki? I'm guessing you're beyond hope at this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been long since beyond hope, but yeah.
How's the game?
So in this, you play as someone whose last name is von Doofenshmirtz or something, and you are a veteran of the First World War. You're a Prussian, and bad things happen, yo. So you've come back home to a really shitty father who's handicapped and places everything on you should die for the fatherland and you need to be a good soldier and blah, blah, blah. And a mother who's batshit insane and doesn't believe you are actually her child. She thinks you were replaced by somebody else. And she's trying to seance to bring back your sibling. And that's where everything goes wrong, because for some reason she disappears and you decide to do that. And I don't know why. But you have released evil into your house. And you start getting sent back to the hell that is the trenches. And you have to deal with monsters and occasionally other people, but mostly just monsters that you can't really do anything to. You have to hide from them. You have to find ways around them, etc., because if they get to you, you're very much a dead man. So it's constantly switching you between being at home and being in this crazy, fucked up trench area during World War I. And yeah, it's very weird. So throughout this entire time, you're just walking around, basically, just listening to the world and seeing what's going on. Occasionally you come across different monsters, and each chapter has its own set of monsters you have to deal with. Otherwise, you're just trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B through it. You're not really guided anywhere, so it's kind of just fuck around and find out. Throughout the time when you're in the trenches, you can find collectibles, namely their dog tags and bracelets. Dog tags from the Prussian and German officers, and bracelets from the French officers that basically are just dog tags by another name. And that's really all there is to it. There are a few puzzles. They're not particularly difficult. Most of them are just like, oh, here's some words. Now you have to figure out what they mean. So it might give you like a little poem or something, and then you have to figure out what paintings go in what order based on the poem so you can find a code. Like, that's the most difficult you got. And there's like 3 paintings and 1 poem. So it's not a particularly hard set of puzzles in the game. Most of this is just a walking sim with an occasional boss battle that you have to figure out how to solve it. Most of them are pretty straightforward. You have to flip switches, and then you get a choice basically when you're flipping switches, either positive or negative. Either you can, like, for instance, each monster has its own name. Like, one's like consumption, one's rage, one's despair or something. And either you do the negative thing, which is just you kill it outright, or you do the positive thing, give it whatever the opposite of what it is. Like for despair, giving despair hope, which is another way of beating it. And these change the ending. So there's 3 different endings. Obviously, do all the negative shit, do all the positive shit, or do a mixture, which change what ending you get. So you are expected to play through this game an entire 3 times. You can beat this over a weekend if you do nothing but play the game over the weekend. You can beat it pretty easily in that period of time.
Are you allowed to sleep?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
cool.
I did sleep. I beat most of this game in one sitting, went to sleep, and woke up and like beat it in like just a couple hours the next day. So it wasn't too bad. And now that I've played it one time, I can ignore basically everything and just get straight to the point. I am waiting for someone to create a guide for finding all the fucking collectibles. Because I got close. I got like 22 out of 28 of the German dog tags and like 21 out of 28 of the French ones. I was like, you motherfucker. Because there's
pretty good.
Yeah, I did pretty good for someone who was just fucking about. It does not keep track of that stuff. So, you know, that sucks. If you don't find them all in your new game, you have to find them all again. It doesn't keep track of which ones you found. You just have to find all 28 all over again.
Chapter select or anything?
No, there's only 4 chapters in the game. Each one takes a few hours because it's interspersed between having a real life-ish section and then going to the usually a few different places in the trenches and then a boss battle, and then you're in the next chapter. So yeah, most of the boss battles really are just, hey, go flip these switches and don't get killed by the boss during this period of time. They're not particularly difficult. I think I died once in the entire game, and it was kind of a bullshit death, but, you know, it was to a normal monster even. So, so it's like, it's not a particularly difficult game. It's pretty fun. It's pretty quick. It's kind of creepy, but not really, at least not for me. I'm so used to playing creepy fucking games and horror games that this doesn't really register as much of a horror game, but it does have some serious body mutilation in it, because all the creatures here are kind of like, oh, if humanity got sick and twisted and fucked up, that is what all the monsters are.
Yeah, there's some creepy looking monsters in this.
Yeah, I really liked them. I thought they were all cool. So yeah, that's really all there is to say about the game. It's really interesting. I've really enjoyed my time with it.
There's one more thing to say about it, and that's whether it's worth $40.
I would say, yeah, you're probably going to spend probably 15 to 20 hours on this. Yeah, I think that's worth it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, moving on. Next game is Shuyan Saga, developed by Lofty Sky Entertainment, published by ES Digital Games, released September 22nd on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5 for $14.99. Shuyan Saga is a graphic novel series where action scenes come alive in 3D combat gameplay. Set in an ancient Chinese martial arts fantasy universe, you embark on a life-changing journey as Shuyan. Jacob, what's going on in Shuyan Saga?
So Shuyan Saga takes like a graphic novel art style for all of its cutscenes, and it kind of plays out kind of like a visual novel with action like adventure stuff in the middle of it. Or I mean, it's really throughout, but like the action adventure parts break up like the visual novel parts. And so what it is that you are this princess who trains in martial arts and eventually is going to become the queen of your region. And there is a growing threat at your borders, which, of course, by the end or towards the end of the first part of the game, you know, surprise, they're here. You know,
surprise,
right there. Surprise,
motherfucker!
That sounded racist. Anyway,
well, it's a sound clip.
Oh,
that we have.
Yeah, I just don't have access. Yeah, I just don't have access to that one for some reason.
It is wrestling superstar Maki Ito.
Gotcha.
Hello to the Dark Order, flipping them off as the camera pans to her. And she just goes, "Surprise, motherfucker!" It is.
She's
beautiful.
My hero.
I love Maki. Anyway, she's amazing.
Anyway, so you and your friends and the guy who's training you have to defend the capital, and eventually you have to leave, and you go on all sorts of adventures as you learn more about martial arts, more about yourself, all that kind of stuff. And your decisions will affect how certain things play out. And at first, like, they seem, you know, kind of like innocuous. Like, you know, do you take this way to escape the guards, or do you like walk across, you know, a tightrope? But eventually, also, it will. It seems like it does affect how people talk to you, and so you need to decide how you're going to handle yourself. You know, whether you're in court or like in the Emperor's court, or whether you're in the middle of a street fight. And so you have to take that kind of stuff in consideration. And then for the action adventure parts, it reminded me somewhat of Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. And I'm not going to lie, it might just be because I've been waiting for ages for them to, like, for the love of God, to like make like an HD remaster or something. But this definitely scratched that itch. So at some points it is like almost like a top-down thing, and you mash buttons like you know, high hit, low hit, whether you're going to roll around, whether you're going to block, all that kind of stuff. And then there are moves that will suddenly allow you to go into almost like a 2D fighter game kind of stance, and use that to like really pummel the shit out of your opponents. And it's also in that mode that you can unleash like certain moves that will really help you out, like when trying to defeat the person. Like there's moves that you have like after you've built up like your I think it's key energy. Like after you've built that up, you can unleash a move that like pretty much decimates like 2/3 of an enemy's health, which like when you get surrounded by a bunch of bad guys, that can really help you out. The gameplay is solid. Like I was having plenty of fun with it. And I never honestly got bored. As I said, like if you have fond memories of Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, this is a game that you're going to want to check out. The voice acting was fine, and the graphic, the comic book style art was very nicely done. Like it wasn't. It's like I could take it or leave it, but I thought for what it was, especially for like something that's going for like the visual novel stuff, it honestly felt like more of a breath of fresh air because the art regularly changed. Like you weren't just like sitting there staring at like the same like two cutouts of like two different characters over and over again for 5 minutes. No. It does regularly change stuff up. I really enjoyed it. It's not exactly the most difficult.
Get the comparison to Shaolin Monks. Like I think this is definitely more of a visual novel than it is an action game. Like there are action sequences, there are fighting sequences. I think the heart of this game is the story and the visual novel aspect of it.
Well, I mean, I can agree with that, but I'm using Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks as like the comparison for that kind of action part of the game. Not totally, but I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
It's $15. I had a lot of What's fun. Your verdict?
15, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. If you can get it on sale, awesome. If you can't, it's there's definitely enough gameplay and story in there for $15. You'll have a good time.
All right, sounds good. Next game to talk about is Whitestone, developed and published by Hailstorm Games. Released September 8th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, and PS5 for $19.99. September 15th on PC for $19.99. On the Sun Chaser's capstone voyage to the Arctic, it's smooth sailing until Jack's quarters are broken into and his friend goes missing. Unsure who to trust, Jack is forced to fight nightmares, both mental and physical, as he becomes the prime suspect for a terrible deed. Both of you played this one. Aki, how about you start off? What's Whitestone?
Okay. In this, you play as a schmuck named Jack. This is... to me, it's kind of steampunky. It's much older times. You know, I don't think it's quite Victorian era, but it's around then. And you are brought aboard a flying boat, basically, to be part of this archaeology group. Basically, your job is to be a gopher. You go fetch shit. And that's it. Because, you know, you have an exciting life, so you do nothing. And the moment you show up, everything starts to go tits up. First, an explosion happens on your very first day in a room that you're in, which you miraculously fix by using what's called humor, which isn't haha a joke, you know, like Jacob is. It's instead magic powers, which are not apparently super common. It's something anyone can do, but no one can do it for some reason because the game doesn't make a lot of sense. And yeah, so things like that just keep happening. Weird stuff keeps happening. A good chunk of this game is spent. I think it takes place over like 30 days, and a lot of this is just spending time going and doing shit for people, talking to them, being like, "Oh, we need you to go get this," and then you go fucking get it. Otherwise, when you don't have any things like that, there are things that you can do in the world to increase some of your stats, like punching a punching bag will increase your strength. Going and reading stuff will increase your knowledge. Occasionally interacting with people will allow you to use one of the best skills ever, which is persuasion, because that will not only open up new conversations for you to have, but it'll also allow you to buy things cheaper, which is very important. And after a while, eventually you pass out and you go to this nightmare world where you beat the shit out of things or shoot them, whichever is your pleasure. Or I guess you can set things on fire too, because you have magic. And yeah, the very opening of this game, you get to fight a Dark Souls-esque type boss. It's a gigantic knight that takes up like half the fucking screen, and you get to dodge to get around its attacks. But instead of fighting it with a melee weapon, you just shoot the shit out of it with a pistol, which is pretty cool. And then the next time you go into this nightmare world, you're fighting basically zombies, and you have a melee weapon as well as that same pistol, and it's not very difficult to kill anything. A couple whacks with the axe that you pick up is enough to cause them to explode in a great amount of viscera.
Yay!
Yeah. This is... if anyone remembers, what was it? Dark Cloud, I think were the names of the games, the old PS2 games.
Yeah.
If you like that art style, that is kind of what this art style looks like. It's not quite as bright and colorful, but it reminds me very much of that. And yeah, if you like Persona 5, specifically 5, you'll probably like this because there's a lot of just interacting and figuring out what you need to do during the day and then beating the shit out of things at night. And it is also incredibly fucking slow. And so if you get bored easily, you're not going to like this game.
It's not the fastest start to a game. It's a really slow paced intro. I do appreciate that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm not going to lie. I hated the fact that the start menu is not available to you for quite some time.
Yeah,
and so there I was wondering, like, is something wrong with my controller? Like, because I can hit like the home button, but start and select aren't really doing anything. And like it's only available to you after your friend has gone missing, that was like a good like 30-40 minutes. And so like what if like you decide to like play this game and like you need to like go off and do something and like you can't save like it.
Yeah, the save is actually a door that you have to find in game, and it takes like an hour to get to that point. And it doesn't appear any more likely after you get through that first area. That door's still in that same fucking location. And when you're doing shit, you can't really get back to it. It's fucking irritating.
Yeah, like it's. I liked the idea of this game, and I like how much there was to explore and just generally, mess around and do stuff. But this game needed more explanation for stuff, and just I don't know.
I think it needed more action, and I think it needs a little more technical work. I ran into a lot of like stuttering and juddery graphics. I turned off basically all the extra graphical flair to try to make it run as good as it could. But even then, in like populated areas, it would chug for me sometimes. I
haven't had any issues like that, but I also have. Yeah, no, for me, I've had lots of graphical issues though. This game is chock full of that shit. Things jittering like crazy, or especially anytime you're near windows, which is anytime you're in your dormitory, that's like 90% of what's there. Everything will just start flickering out of fucking nowhere. Yeah, it's the only time I think I had any slowdown was during that the boss battle, which is the very beginning of the game. It slowed down during that quite a bit, but otherwise, it's run pretty well. Too bad it's still this game.
Well, it clocks in at $20. What's everyone's thoughts on it?
No.
I don't know. Honestly, I'd be willing to spend $20 on it and not feel ripped off. Like I was okay with the time I had. I wish it just explained itself a bit more. And the idea that you can't access the start menu it's just really dumb in my opinion. But otherwise, I was all right with it.
For me, it was incredibly boring to get into, and even after I got to the point where you can start fighting things, it was still really boring. So I think it's just too slow.
It needs to be more fast paced.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a terrible game, though. I think that there's a lot to like in it. For $20, I would give it a try. It.
As I said, if you really like Persona 5, this is the same kind of slow and general-ish gameplay outside of combat. So.
I'm not gonna lie. Last night I was playing this and I was a bit above the influence, and I was sitting there I actually
real
had
good at that point.
I had the thought in my head, I wonder if this is what the Persona games are like. Maybe I should play them finally. And so, if this is how they go, then maybe I'm going to check out that series now.
Yeah, check out Persona 5. It's a good one. Let's move on. Next game is Warstride Challenges, developed by Dream Powered Games, published by Focus Entertainment. Released September 7th on Series X and S, PS5, and PC for $19.99. Blast hordes of demons at lightning speed and bloody gunfights and race against the clock to overcome everything that comes your way. Die and retry to get the highest score in increasingly intense trials. Jacob, what is going on in Warstride Challenges?
So, that description was pretty apt to it. This is a game that is not just it is get from point A to point B, but the whole thing is essentially nothing but a bunch of speedrun challenges. And it's not exactly just like one long hallway. It's got all the trappings of a regular first person shooter game. Like there's switches, I don't want to go so far as to say that it's like little mini puzzles, but sometimes you have to wander around and figure out where the heck everything is that you need, or how the levels build out. And so you have to, before you even start this, just know you're going to die a lot. And not necessarily from all the demons. Most of the times I died, it was because of environmental crap. Like whether my jump wasn't enough or I just ended up falling into lava because I couldn't figure out where exactly I'm supposed to go next. And the game
not in the lava.
Thank you. I wish somebody had told me that before. So, and the thing is that the game does try to be like, hey, this is where you're supposed to be, by having little demon guys shoot at you, from a distance, but still it's not always easy to figure out where from point A to point B, how you get there. And so, there are different levels, different difficulties, and there is some sort of online multiplayer function, but there wasn't anybody playing online at the time. And I also thought it was pretty neat that there is a ghost feature in there, and you can if you know other players who are playing this, you can actually enter in their stuff, and you'll get to play against their ghosts. So you can always challenge your friends. But yeah, so the levels are pretty much kill all the demons, get to the exit. There's really not much else going to it. So honestly, if you enjoy doing speedrunning, and just figuring out the quickest way to finish a level, mixing in some first person shooter puzzle, as I said, I don't know if I really want to call it puzzles, but I guess it's kind of what it is. But yeah, it's just it's a solid game. It's just, this has to be your kind of cup of tea.
Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I also recognize that this is not a bad game. It's not my bag. But if you are into those speedrunning challenges and you understand that you're going to die a whole lot just trying to get, and become frustrated sometimes with this game, as long as you're okay with that going into it, honestly, I'd recommend it. But if you're a casual first person shooter player, this may not be for you.
Cool. Well, it clocks in at $19.99. What's your verdict?
That's it?
Yes.
Oh, honestly, I thought it would have been more. For $20, yeah, I'd recommend it. Like, if you're, as I said, if you're into the speedrunning stuff, absolutely, for $20, it's totally worth it. If you're not, but like this still sounds intriguing, wait for a sale. It's a solid title.
Cool. Sounds good. Next up, Rayland 2, developed by Naoka Games, published by East Asia Soft, released September 20th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $4.99. Welcome to Rayland. The inhabitants of this island use the energy coming from special laser beams to survive. To transport this energy, they use something called repeating cubes. Your mission is to help the inhabitants of Rayland move the energy of the transmitter, known as a domus, through different lands by reflecting lasers to their target. Hockey, what is Rayland 2?
Okay, this one's pretty simple. It is 50 levels of you picking up what's basically a mirror and reflecting light. A laser beam shoots out of this thing, and you have to direct it to the same colored hole that it belongs to power it. The end. That is all this game is. You pick up mirrors, you shift them around, and you place them to send it where it belongs. The end. It is fantastic. Some of them, if you get like 2 of them going into the same box, it'll shoot out, like if there's a red and a blue laser, it'll shoot out a purple laser instead, which is kind of cool. But yeah, there's enough boxes in every level to get it from point A to point B and nothing else. So you do have to figure out how to do these exactly. There's 50 levels. I think you only need to beat 30 of them in order to get all the achievements in the game and close it. And that's really all the game is just that. So yeah, very simple game. I like that.
It's $5. Actually, I believe it's on sale right now for $4. And you get the Xbox and Windows 10 versions of the game for that $3.99 price on Xbox and Windows 10. What's your verdict?
I'm totally for it. It is fantastic. Yeah.
Cool. All right. One final game to talk about tonight. We're going to After Dark territory. George, take it away.
SML After Dark.
SML After Dark presents The Lust City, developed and published by Candy Light Studio, released September 7th on Steam for $11.99. You're a seasoned explorer on a mission with your expedition crew into the deep jungle. Find lost treasure, explore the ancient mysteries that surround the tribe, and build your own harem in the Lust City. Hockey, tell us about it.
Okay, so in this, you play as some guy, you get to name yourself, who is on an expedition to this unknown island with his cohorts. A guy named Damien, his girlfriend, well, not Damien's girlfriend, your character's girlfriend, your stepmom and stepsister. Though if you want, you can change what their relation are to you if you so desire. But that is what they're meant to be. And you guys go out into the jungle, you eat some berries that you shouldn't have eaten, and you get real horny and your mind goes blank. So it's great. So after spending some time with your girlfriend, you suddenly wake up in a place you don't know. And very quickly you get captured by a local tribe of a local female-only tribe, I guess I should dictate, that worship a goddess of desire. And they bring you in. You're the only guy there, so yay. And you're like, hey, yeah, I just want to learn about places and so on and so forth, so that some of the people there trust you, some of them very fucking don't, and want you fucking gone. But overall, people are like, hey, yeah, let's, at least put up with him for now, because the Great Huntress, which seems to be, their leader, says we can trust them. It's okay. And then you go about basically having sex with everyone. During this whole time, you also get to learn more about the inhabitants, their religion, their past, so on and so forth. And in this, you get a whole bunch of decisions. Basically, a lot of them come down to which individual do you want to have sex with? Because lots of them are, I have a little time before, this thing happens. So what do I want to do? And it might give you a list of, hey, go hang out with this girl, go hang out with this girl, go hang out with these girls, check what this group is doing. And all of that basically results in you having sex with people, which is fantastic. But yeah, the story doesn't really change a whole great deal. All the choices are basically just who do you want to have sex with currently, and that's it. You might further a little bit of their story with you, but the overarching story will still follow through no matter what you choose. And yeah, it's really, really fucking hot. I haven't finished it yet, but it's pretty great. I don't know. From what I remember, I don't think it had the greatest of reviews on Steam, and I don't know why. It's been pretty amazing so far. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with it multiple times. And yeah, it's all 3D animated, so it has really nice models. They're all very pretty. It's not just gallery, pictures. There's also little videos. They're pretty basic. But they're not bad by any means. So yeah, it's pretty good. I like it.
Well, it's $12. What do you think?
Yes, 100% yes. If you like fucky games, this is a good fucky game for you.
Sounds good. All right, we are done. That is it for this episode. We made it through. Thanks to you two for being here and hanging out.
No problem.
Thanks to Bree for coming on, doing her thing as well. Music this episode, we are going to play a song from the 1UPs, Chrono Trigger, a song I endearingly called Porno Trigger because it's an early version of the song and it's really like sleazy and funky. It's good music to get it on to. So we're going to play that.
Okay.
Chrono Trigger by the 1UPs. Does anyone have any final words to end the show?
Nope, I'm good.
Suck at this.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's been a while since either one of us said Farfignugan. I mean, we're not bringing that back.
Farfignugan!
That, I think you mispronounced it. But it's not like Newton, like Fig Newtons.
Yeah, no, that's how I've always said it. Because that's how I used to say it.
I mean,
good night, everyone.